Alright. Let's make this nice, quick, simple, and easy because Crown Jewel was pretty easy and simple to follow. With a little bit of a... I wasn't too into it that muchness, / kind of feeling like it's just a filler pay-per-view. So, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. Let me know what you guys thought of it down in the comment realm where you guys are in Supremo. Don't forget to go on ahead and get yourself strapped in, a little locked in. Set that beautiful like button, blaze for me, and subscribe, my friends, and join the Zebra gang. And let's talk. Let's chit-chat. Starting off, we had our first match, which was surprising that it was the first match, but at the same time, it makes sense that it was the first match. It was Bobby Lashley versus the Brock Brick Lesnar. And I gotta say, not the way that I expected that to go. Basically, what ended up happening was Bobby Lashley injured Brock's leg very early on, tackled him through some shit, beat the shit out of him for a bit, speared him a couple of times, and then Brock gained a second win for a second, even though he, was literally working on one leg, and was German suplexing around Bobby Lashley until Bobby got him in the Hurt Lock, and Brock Lesnar kicked off of the turnbuckle to push Bobby Lashley down into a pin because he couldn't get him out. And, yeah, that's how that ended. It wasn't really too much of a fight. It wasn't what you would have expected at all. Like, literally at all. For them to have this whole buildup of them hating each other so goddamn much, this wasn't the way that I would have expected it to go. But I'm pretty sure they're going to have an actual proper non-filler match. But right after it, Bobby literally was pissed off. Everybody kept on saying that Brock just survived. And then we got this great shot of Brock basically dying because Bobby Lashley, of course, was pissed after the match and attacked. Put him in the Hurt Lock. And then we went into Women's Tag Team Championship match. And I hate that every single time they go to Saudi Arabia, all of them have to dress like they're Power Rangers. I hate it so much. It's so doofy. But we got this little thing where Alexa Bliss sees the Bray Wyatt symbol pop up and she gets like, huh. Ooh. But this is one of those matches that I also don't think a whole lot of people in the crowd, at least, was all too super duper into. It was fun to me. It was nice to see Io and Asuka kind of have a bit of good one-on-one against each other. It was cool. It was fine. I just don't understand the decision to have Alexa and Asuka win the championships to then lose them right away. I didn't understand the point, and I still don't understand the point, but yes, Io and Dakota won. I don't get it. I don't get it. But then we had a match that I really didn't pay that much attention to because I didn't care that much. This whole thing, Drew and Karrion Kross, not exactly a big fan of the whole thing. So I blinked, if I'm being real with you. I blinked like a motherfucker. Pretty much until the end, which of course involved shenanigans. But Drew McIntyre still ended up pulling out the win. Basically what ended up happening was Scarlett locked the cage when it was, supposed to be open. Drew decided, well, fuck you, I'm going ahead and just climb up. Scarlett struggled to unlock it so that Karrion Kross can crawl out, and Drew ended up landing first, and he won. Cool beans. I don't think that again, for it to be as brutal as of a rivalry, to need to have them in a steel cage match, little sour of an ending, just like the Brock and Bobby Lashley. They built it up to be so bloodthirsty, so we are literally here to fuck each other up type deal, just for it to end, both matches to end very violently and non-certain. It's weird. But then we had the tag team match, the OC versus Judgment Day. This match kind of also was a little meh to me, just because they built up the whole thing of, we have a Rhea problem, we need to fix the Rhea problem, and they never fixed the Rhea problem. I was expecting somebody to, I was expecting them to have somebody to help, even if it would have been like Beth Phoenix, which would not be that interesting to me, but that would have been something to help with the Rhea problem. But, you know, whatever. The Judgment Day ended up winning because they have a Rhea problem. So I'm guessing tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, maybe we get the introduction to the help to the Rhea problem, which will be great. Now, this is the match that I didn't see at all. Braun Strowman versus Omos. From what I was seeing on the interwebs, not a lot of people really fucked with it that much anyway, so I guess I didn't really miss out too much. But of course, Braun ended up winning. Cool beans. Cool beans. I don't have much else to say about it besides, what do you do now with Omos? He's lost. Actually, I think this is his second loss, because he lost to Bobby Lashley. So what do you do with Omos now? That is the question. The next match was also really, really fast. At least it felt like it. I was watching this at work, so I was, yeah. But it was Ridge Holland and Butch versus the Usos for the tag team champion, the Unified Tag Team Championships. It felt fine. It felt fine. There was a lot of homages to Sheamus and everything. That was cute. But ultimately, what match seems to be the bigger moneymaker? The Usos versus the New Day again, or Ridge Holland and Butch? And I like Ridge Holland and Butch, the Brawling Brutes. They're cool. But the Usos and the New Day, that is good. That is going to and always will be fun to watch. So they stayed the champions. Next up, we ended up having the last woman standing match, which also felt a little. This whole pay-per-view felt very filler. Because spoiler alert, no titles changed, and it felt like none of these matches really truly resolved anything, because a lot of the wins were very open-ended, to whereas they can have an argument about wanting to fight more still, And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with literally every single one of these feuds, every single one of these matches, except for the Roman Logan Paul match. That's the only one that felt a little more decisive, sort of. But the last woman standing match, they tried some cool things, and I personally wasn't a huge fan of much of it. A lot of it was really funny, but it didn't feel like they hated each other. It didn't seem like they really wanted to hurt each other, But, of course, Bianca won, which I'm happy about. Cool beans. Then we had a Bray Wyatt, little segment. I missed most of what he was saying in the ring himself, but I did end up seeing the message from Uncle. Wow, I can't remember his name, but the demon that is haunting Bray, basically. And he basically is telling him, go back to the way you are, you'll enjoy it, you'll remember why you love it, and just don't take the mask back off, basically. So this person is taunting him into Uncle Howdy. They're taunting him into basically, I guess, being the Fiend again. and murdering people. And then lastly, we got the main event, which was Roman versus Logan Paul, and this was fun. I saw the entirety of this match. This was a lot of fun. Logan really showcased that he really seems to be into this. Sadly, he did get injured somewhere within the match. We ended up getting a buckshot lariat that everybody is now just being like, yeah, he did it better than Hangman Adam Page does it, and he could do it, but CM Punk couldn't. It's still an argument going on right now on Twitter. Roman basically ended up talking shit a lot. He was calling out KSI, Mr. Beast. And then later on, we had Zelina Vega calling out on Twitter. We had Zelina Vega calling out Valkyrie, and I'm just like, why Valkyrie? Why would you want to punch that beautiful soul in the face, Zelina? That's mean. But we ended up having a lot of shenanigans going on later on. Jake Paul came out, the Usos came out, Solo Sikoa came out. We had the big table spot. It was fun. It was fun. This was a lot of fun. There were a lot of times where they had me believing that Roman was about to lose to Logan. They really did. They really did. But it's still Tribal Chief time. It's still Tribal Chief time. Overall, that's the only match that felt like it had a sort of an arguable conclusion to, whereas every other match feels like it will continue. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment room where you guys are in Supremo. That's all that I got for you. That is Zebra, the best on YouTube. Signing the fuck off. Have yourselves a nice rest of your day and a nice juicy a chickadee a goddamn.